Now, have you ever been stuck at home in the middle of World War III with your child over their homework and wondered, why am I putting myself and my child through this endless excruciating pain?
I was reading it, I was like,
Benny Sanders, PhD, CEO, MD, HR, PR admin, is here to help us understand why homework is beneficial to the education of our youth. Benny!
Well, Bill, it's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Well, Bill, I believe students should have to go home and do at least a little bit of homework. Because after doing some research, I found that homework not only furthers students' academic life, but also teaches students important life lessons that will help them grow into mature, organized, and successful people later on in their lives. A young man by the name of John Bishop, who is the author of Goal Setting for Students and executive director of Accent on Success, which is a program designed to help students seek out education. He believes that homework is very important for students to have because it helps prepare them for life experiences later. He says that homework teaches students about time, management, and prioritizing, and how to work independently. Bishop's main point in that argument and that homework helps build a strong work ethic and foundation for students to go off. As you and me both know, Bill, strong work ethic helps tremendously when it comes to time management and prioritizing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yes. Also, Duke University psychology professor by the name of Harris Cooper found in a research analysis that 57% of parents thought that the amount of homework their kids was just right. 23% thought it was too little, and 19% thought it was too much. So overall, about 80% of parents thought their kids should have homework. Also, Cooper conducted a total of 35 more studies that don't include student differences, finding that 77% of students proved to score higher on tests doing homework. Cooper also led a meta-analysis in which he found that students in grades 4 through 6 had a percentile gain of 6%, 7 through 9 had a percentile gain of 12%, and 10th through 12th graders had a percentile gain of 24%, opposed to another school nearby in which the 4th through 12th graders were not assigned homework nightly, like these students here. And all this information ultimately leads to the idea that doing homework does help increase students' test scores.
Huh. Very interesting facts, Benny. Well, Benny, you know, in contrast to your beliefs, I consider homework to be a major cause of many problematic factors in our current student lives, in school and out. Homework has been a contributing factor to all-nighters and caffeine overdoses for the past century. And frankly, since the beginning of structured education, homework has been applied to students in lows ranging hours on end. In 1900, Edward Bok, editor of the Ladies' Home Journal, accused homework of destroying the childhood of students all over the world and calling it a national crime at the feet of parents. Homework has been a burden on all of us, and it finally has to go. According to a study by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health, extra assignments given to children, particularly younger, going to school, can lead to unhealthy levels of stress, according to research. If bombarded with countless lessons at school and at home, students may feel stress, anxiety, and especially if they don't finish on time. The classroom setting is a great catalyst for learning, but no classroom is as good as nature. Classical educational research provides empirical evidence of the positive effects of doing homework on the academic results. Nevertheless, when this effect is analyzed in detail, there are inconsistent and in some cases contradictory results. The central aim of this study was to systematically investigate the effect of homework on performance of students in mathematics and science. And you know what? The central aim of this study found that mathematics and science were on a multitude of levels in the sample. It consisted of like 7,725 Spanish adolescents with a mean age of 13.78, of which 7,451 were evaluated after purging the sample of students who did little to no homework. Autonomy when doing homework was shown to be the most important individual level variable in both mathematics and science, and no effort or time spent doing homework was useful. The optimum duration of this time of homework was found to be 1 hour a day. That was from Jose Munez. As well as the health effects, according to a study published in the Journal of Experimental Education, 4,317 students in high-performing California high schools 6 public and 4 of which were private, had an average of 3.1 hours of homework a night. These students' huge homework load negatively impacted their lives, academically and physically. Since the average high schooler spends almost 7 hours each week doing homework, it's surprising that there's no clear evidence. Homework is generally recognized as an effective way to reinforce what students learn in class, but claims that it may cause more harm than good if given in excess of 2 hours a night.
You gotta listen, man. I agree with you there. Professor Cooper also said he is a believer in something called the 10-minute rule, where students should have 10 minutes more of homework as they progress into the next grade level. For example, 4th graders should have 40 minutes, whereas seniors should have about 2 hours.
Well, you know, Benny, you know what?
You're just not understanding, Bill.
You do have a point in that much of my research has pointed towards this timely compromise.
Yes, it does. Well, Bill, the idea of negative effects of homework on students lives in a reoccurring theme throughout history, revolving around a sort of spiral thinking pattern. In the 1970s, parents were worried about not enough homework for productivity, and now we are worried about too much. It all revolves around society's view of education, which is inevitably changing.
Well, thank you, Benny. I've been Bill O'Reilly. This is Fox 11. Over and out. Later on the issue of reoccurring sicknesses in young children.